Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a video for you which is super fun and super exciting. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love to go thrifting, garage sailing, going to the Salvation Army, Goodwill, and things like that. And I decorate pretty much 90% of my home is decorated by finding things secondhand. And I'm going to share with you some of the things I look for specifically when I go to those places and how I use them to decorate. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing I like to buy when I go to secondhand stores or to garage sales and things like that are pictures. I've always had a super love and obsession for pictures, and I am now loving this whole farmhouse themed pictures because they've always been something that I really liked. I like to use them for decorating in my home, for displaying flowers, for serving drinks, all kinds of things. But specifically I look for pictures that are in really good shape in different sizes, and I have this small one that I'm using right now to display some flowers in, and then I have this medium-sized one that I've also used for flowers, and then I also use for serving juice for brunches and breakfasts and things like that. So I'm always looking for pictures, not necessarily white ones, but any pictures, though. That is one thing I do like to find secondhand. The second thing is farmhouse, seems to be the theme, is cracks. I love cracks in various shapes and sizes. I use them for planters to plant flowers and plants. I use them to store things such as biscuits and bread. I also use it for serving certain foods, and I also use them for my wooden spoons that I also do like to find at secondhand stores, and rolling pins. I think it looks really pretty in here on a counter, and it's decorative. The cracks are very sturdy, and I love them for various things. I store some of my smaller cracks. I put my butter in it and maple syrup and things like that. The next thing I like to get at secondhand stores, and if you wash them very well, are linens. And I love to buy white linens because you can pretty much mismatch them any way you choose and they still go with everything. I like to find, this one is actually hand stitched with hand stitch embroidery that you can use in a little girl's room or even your room. I like to find tablecloths with little details and things like that. Some of these pillowcases have scallops and things like that. You can also see right there. I love finding linens and then they're white, so I can give them a good wash and disinfect them by using bleach or vinegar. The next thing is wood. Anything wooden I like to find at secondhand. It doesn't matter what color it is, and as long as it's in pretty good shape, you can pretty much sand it, stain it, paint it, do whatever you want. I can use this for storing things, such as I use this in my office to store envelopes and notebooks and things like that. I also found this one that was actually a really the color was really funky yellow with flowers. It looked very country looking, not really my taste. You take some white chalk paint and distress it and sand it down. It can make a nice centerpiece, or you can use it for storing things such as like salt and peppers and spices and things like that. So anything wood, I love finding secondhand. And to go with the wood theme, I like to find picture frames at secondhand stores because I can pretty much do the same thing. I can sand them, paint them, stain them, do whatever I need. And like this picture frame right here, the glass was broken, so I was going to get a piece of glass and repurpose it for something, and I decided to take this heart that I found on clearance at Joann Fabrics and decorated it with this. I also use it, I have one in my daughter's room. If you go over to my blog, I found a letter S at Joann's, painted it and put the S, but just frames all over the place. Sometimes I use them for, displaying things, but I like to use them too as a piece of art as well. The next thing I like to pick up secondhand is stainless steel pots and pans and baking dishes. I find, they're first very easy to clean. I have my two pans here. They're very easy to clean and they're very durable. I like these pans I actually found in a garage sale to make bread, rolls, things like that, cakes and different things like that. And then this, I like to use my larger pan for sauteing vegetables and things like that. My smaller one for eggs and maybe smaller bits of vegetables and things like that. I just love them. They're easy to clean up with the stainless steel pad, and I know I'm not releasing any toxins into my food, and I just thoroughly enjoy finding those when I can. Very good quality stainless steel. And these I actually found at a garage sale, not actually at a secondhand store. So always be mindful of that when you're out garage selling looking for those pieces. The next thing is cast iron. I actually found this big cast iron pot and some other skillets at garage sales. They are getting a little bit harder to find, but I never find them at thrift stores. It's always usually garage sales and yard sales and community sales is where I find these, because a lot of times people give these and put these in those sales because they just don't know how to use them and care for them. And I love them. I love them for baking, for cooking, for all kinds of things. So be on the lookout for cast iron. Another thing I like to pick up at garage sales and secondhand stores is books. I go and look for cookbooks and things of that nature. I look for children's books. I look for novels. I look for anything that might even strike my children's interest, my interest, or anybody else's interest. So always look, because you can get these like fairly inexpensive for under $1. And a lot of times I like older books and vintage looking books. It kind of gives you a bit or a glimpse of the past, and then sometimes you can find like those classic novels like How to Kill a Mockingbird, Romeo and Juliet, things like that. So always be in the lookout for books. And the very last thing that I do look at when I'm thrifting for my home is dishes, serving dishes, display pieces, things like that. This is actually a cutting board that I found at a secondhand store that I use to display some of my food photography. I'll put the food on there and use this as a background, or I'll also use it to serve things during the holidays. I used it to serve various cheeses. I like to find a lot of glassware because it's very neutral in white or clear. I found this to mix salad dressings. I like using white bowls and put a big bowl of berries in there and serve it, for example, for a summer picnic or summer barbecue at my home. I'll use some of the white serving dishes to serve other things. I found this adorable, like, I guess you can use it for oil or for vinegar or dressing. I think it's really pretty and classic. I also have found like canning things and things like that. I store my homemade cookies and muffins, and I put this right on the counter so it's always accessible. Plus my children and my husband can see the items in there and they always go for it. I found really cute ones to store like brown sugar and regular sugar. I have this handy dandy butter dish that I found at a secondhand store. I find serving platters. I never ever really buy those in the store because I know I can find so many things at secondhand stores and garage sales that have character, that are one of a kind and very unique. And if you keep it neutral, it'll pretty much, you can mix and match it with anything in your home for serving and decorating, things of that nature. If you enjoyed this video on how to get that farmhouse feel in your home by thrifting or going to secondhand stores or garage sales, give me a thumbs up and I'll be sure to do more videos like this. Let me know in the comments below if you want to know type of things that I find at, you know, different stores and things like that to decorate my home. Let me know, because I'd be sure to do that for you. And I hope you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos from me, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. So long.